Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another BizTalk UnLocked. I'm James,
And I'm April.
and this is our year ender. We want to thank you for riding with us for our first season, which I think went well.
Yes, and we had 11 episodes. And so with this is our 12th. So what we learned in 2025 was a multitude of tips, takeaways, just from each and every guest that we had. And each guest brought so much value to our business, but also we hope to you as our audience.
Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention our studio dog, aka Spirit.
Spirit
She's in the house
board.
chilling with us on my lap. Normally she's in the behind scenes when we're filming, but this time we figure we do a little Drew Barrymore style.
Drew
Barrymore.
Barrymore style,
Thank you. I
where
can't
she
talk right
brings
now.
her dogs on the set,
Yeah.
and
So, it's all good though. I guess it's going to be a new thing. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Start having parrots and fish and every kind of other animals we bring on for the animal lovers. But anyway, let's dive into our highlights of some of our best interviews that we've had. They all were best interviews, to be quite honest, but we can't show them all because we have a time limit. So we're going to start off with,
Rann Miller.
and did you know that there is a thing in the publishing worlds of books called kill fee? Dun dun dun. Yeah, that blew my mind. I'm like, what? They pay you not to release your books? It's
Hmm.
kind of cool and uncool. But anyway, take a listen. What were some of the biggest challenges you faced during the initial stage of setting up the business? Or, you becoming an author?
Yeah, I think I was probably say the biggest thing is disappointment, getting told no. You get a couple of yeses, and you're like, "Oh man, this is great. We can just do all kinds of stuff. Let's go ahead." So a lot of the rejections for as many articles that I've written and gotten published, there's probably three times more that gotten no's to.
Wow.
And so I had to realize from a business standpoint, in terms of the product, that the no's were not representative of my competency. And at first I had to get over that. It was hard when people rejected pitches or opportunities. I'm thinking, wow, maybe I'm not as good a writer as I thought. And it wasn't until I got my first kill fee. For people who may not be aware, there's money that places will pay you not to write something that you submitted. So it's like they don't want to publish it, and they may or may not want you to get it published somewhere else. So then they pay you a kill fee for it. And when I got my first kill fee, it wasn't a whole lot. It was about $300, but in my head, I'm like, wow, somebody paid me $300 not to publish something. They didn't want it because and they felt like, okay, we'll give you something so that you don't take it elsewhere or anything else. Then I realized, okay, I'm actually a decent writer. This has nothing to do with me not being a good writer. So I think that was the first thing to overcome. Of course, everything else, managing money in terms of what was coming in, and how that business, setting that up versus not setting it up in the context of just keeping everything in the household and trying to measure that was a whole headache too. That was really a headache because there was one year where thankfully some money came in, but that was taxed on the household. And then that's when I had to say, okay, we can't do it like this no more. We have to do it a different way. So those are some of the little hiccups and things, because ultimately when you start your own business, whether you're a single entrepreneur or you have an LLC or anything like that, if you don't have the network of folks that know, or that can tell you some of the pitfalls that you're walking into or that you could walk into, you're going in blind. And it's not so much that there's anyone to blame, but it's just easier when you have people who've been through this process to really show you what to do. So those are the sort of growing pains that I dealt with.
I want to chew back on the fact that you said kill fee.
I know, I
I've
wanted to go on that one
never
too.
heard that.
I never heard of
Because
that.
there's a lot of people who want to write books. The most thing that they're probably thinking about, will this sell? Will people buy my book? I've never had in the back of my mind, if I write this, will there be a kill fee for this? That would the publisher don't want me to have this published?
So yeah, I was floored. I was floored. I never heard of such a
Is
thing.
is there a limit to that? Is it like you said, you one of the fees, but then like, hey, we don't want you to publish that anywhere. Is that Is there like after a year? Like what is that like?
So I'm not particularly sure. The I got a kill fee one time where it was like they paid me a certain amount, but I could go get it published elsewhere.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So it's
Um,
flexible.
so it's flexible. It all depends on who you submit your pieces to, because some places when you submit, they have rights over it where no one else can get it. And particularly if you sign a deal, they'll take your op-ed, and then you'll sign paperwork to say that they have exclusive rights. Of course, you have the intellectual property, but they
Right.
have exclusive rights in terms of it can't be published elsewhere. So when you do that, and for whatever reason, one reason or another, maybe they think it's inflammatory, maybe the editing isn't working between what you want and what the editor wants, they decide, okay, we're going to kill this, so we're not going to do it. They have rights to it. So then they say, we'll pay you because we have the rights to it. We'll give you something and just consider it dead. Nothing will be put. And then in that case, you don't have the ability to publish it or to do it again. I mean, you could rewrite it and kind of finesse it in a different way and see if someone else does it, but that particular one you wouldn't be able to do. But then, like I said, another place, I was able to did got a kill fee, and then I was able to take it somewhere else and get it published.
Well, that was a great recap. Just to not know that type of information for book authors out there, that was a good takeaway for someone who's new to the industry.
Right, right. So remember that kill feat. You heard it here first,
Yes.
if you didn't know it.
Yeah. And the next guest that we wanted to highlight is Corey Dissin. He was my first boss, an internship in the industry while I was in college, and he actually gave us some insight on what he did with funding his entrepreneurial journey. Check it out.
How did you secure initial funding or resources to get started? And what advice would you give others looking to raise capitals for their ventures?
Well, I mean, I took it from my own personal money, number one. I did it slowly. I didn't take out any loans. I was in the black the entire time because I didn't want to owe anybody anything. And, you don't need, now look, if you're going to open up a brick and mortar location, there's a lot more to it. You have to get some kind of financing unless you're independently wealthy. And if you're independently wealthy, why are you working anymore anyway? But because my business was virtual, basically, I just needed a laptop. So I went and I took out the credit card, bought a laptop just for my business. So I was always working on two computers. I had the day job computer and I had the laptop open on to the side, fielding emails or posting on social media, yada yada. So my initial startup costs were pretty low, thank goodness, and I stretched out paying some of them off on a credit card. But every dollar that I made was reinvested into the company for a while. I didn't take any type of salary or payroll. I mean, it was at least 18 months before I started putting money in my
Right. And
pocket.
that's kind of like, so that's what
That
James.
is so key. And people, and that's why it's like, yeah, don't quit your day job. Not
Right.
try to be mean when you say that to people. Oh, I'm going to start my business. Yeah, but don't quit your day job.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you do it. Just, I mean, look, I was I was putting pressure on myself, but I was taking my time, if that makes sense. I wanted to earn the money, but I wasn't going to dig a hole for myself financially to start this thing up. So I had told you earlier before in the discussion how when I operated a fitness studio, that was a good training ground for me. And I built that company the same way I built my current, a consulting business. I didn't have a building to start. It was at my local gym that I was a member. I basically asked the owner, "Do you mind if I go up to clients and say, hey, can I train you?" And I wound up getting enough clients, making enough money that I took the money from those people and rented a little 400 square foot box of an office and bought some secondhand equipment, not brand new. I bought used equipment, and then when that grew, then I got a 1,200-foot space. Then I started hiring other trainers and paying them, and then I sold the whole thing and made a nice chunk of change. I just took that formula of starting slow, not taking out any loans, reinvesting, building, and then eventually, instead of selling this business that I have now, it was the Shawshank plan, which was, go basically I live semi-retired, and I still have a handful of clients every month, but the point is to spend lots of time with my family.
It's so important that we can give our time. I mean, back to our family. And I get what you're saying. And so those who are watching, I mean, as you understanding, as we keep talking about time, you find that that's the most valuable aspect of this whole puzzle of entrepreneurship is to get back time. So I'm just trying to turn on the lights for those who are thinking about entrepreneur, how it works in terms of if you want to spend time with your family, you got to create these outlets of businesses that will allow you to do that. But you're going to have to put in some time.
Therein lies the litmus test for mom and pop entrepreneur is how, what are you willing to absorb? How bad do you want that time with your family? Because everybody says they want their time with the family, but they're not willing to take the punches and survive them to eventually see what's on the other side there. And that's what separates, the men from the boys, so to speak, because entrepreneurship, it's hard. You're going to be told no way more times than you're going to be told yes. And it always takes longer than you think. There is no magic pill. It's about consistency. You want to blow up, you got to show up every day for several days, weeks, and months and years in a row. That's figuring that like people, like I said, a lot of times people say, I want to be able, I don't have to work for the man anymore, and I want to be able to spend time with my kids. But then when they see what it actually takes, then I would say at least 75% of them bail because they're not willing to take that pain up front. And it is painful. Like I said, my wife and I adore each other, but she wanted to hit me in the head with a frying pan many days because I was doing what I was doing. But now, thank goodness, we're enjoying, the fruit of that labor.
Wow. So there you have it. You don't always have to go to the banks to get loans to start your business. You can do your own self-investment if you got some capital saved up, and you don't have to owe anyone back. It's all after that point just profit, right?
Right. And it is a great opportunity to just be able to confidently grow your own business.
Yeah, and that's what we did. We didn't have too much stress behind us knowing that we had to owe somebody in
Right.
case the business failed or anything like that. Well, that was great. But now we're going to go into something even more awesome about transitioning from educators to entrepreneurs with
Dr. Tonya Breland and Dr. Erika Leek.
from TESO. Take a look.
When you were working by yourself, Tonya, were you still, was that full time?
It
Or was
was.
that so it was full time.
It was full time. However, I wasn't making I had not replaced my salary. I was not making full time revenue, and it was a struggle. It was a struggle, but it was also a learning curve. So I was learning, and I learned a lot. So I don't regret those years. And it was like 7 years of struggling, but that was part of the process. I see it, I see it as part of the process.
Now, Dr. Lee, now in your transitioning and coming on board with TESO
Right.
Consulting Group, I mean, so what was the thought process in your mind, from transitioning from your workplace, or did you stay at work still and then came on board, or how did that look for you as well?
Yeah, so when we first started talking about it, and Tanya and I first started having conversations about what it might look like to go into business together and what we might do and why, right? It really started out of, James, you talked about kind of identifying a problem. We were talking about the problem that we had identified, and how the sort of the enterprise at that time for which we worked for the state, really didn't have not only the capacity, but it was like they didn't really see the role as sort of going as deep into helping address issues of equity in terms of where we wanted to go with it. So, but when I first started with her, no, I still had my my full-time job. Tonya talked about, sort of when she was, she had not replaced her salary. And I will be honest, I would love to say that, we had this wonderful conversation and that just fueled, my desire to go into business. And but that wasn't, I had, at the time, I had two kids who were going into college, one who was just coming out, and in addition to needing to pay the mortgage and eat, and so um, yeah, so no, so in the beginning I did not sort of like, well, let me just step out on faith, and I love all of those phrases, and I love that, but for me the stepping out on faith was, let me just have this conversation with her. I can start it. How do, and I did the work at the state, like, can I start this while I'm still working for the state? And the answer was yes. And they, there were some boundaries, and that was okay. But then, as we started, working together, and as we started, working with clients, you know, I had a conversation with my husband, and we were like, okay, this can happen. We can do this. And then, as Tonya said, early 2022, I was full time with TESO. But I just want to say that I think it's okay to slow walk it, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
okay to say, I got this full time thing that's helping me, with what it is I need to do for myself and my family. But I have
Mhm.
this other direction that I'm really pretty sure I'm being, called to go in.
See, I always say that the workplace that you end up working, learn that and then turn into your own business. That
Yep.
way you can have an unlimited salary. But keep in mind, it's not easy being an entrepreneur. It's not for the faint of it's not for the, what is that term?
Faint of heart, I think.
I guess so, something like that, because you really got to get your grind on because you're unplugged from the corporate
Yes.
industry. So yeah, it's all on you now.
Yeah. And then you start to learn all the different positions is you.
Yeah. But you want to, in order to scale, you eventually want to have people learn those positions
Yep.
so that way you can focus on growing the business and hire, people who are like-minded.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So next,
Yeah.
we want to talk about these two lovebirds who built a business based off of love.
And cheesecakes. And so, what we want to share with you on how they decided, or actually really call their business their baby.
Mm-hmm. Take a listen.
I know we've talked a lot, and you've said like your business is kind of like your baby.
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit like why you say that? How in your relationship?
And on top of that, why
Right.
is it even more special that you are partnered in a business with your spouse?
Yes.
My spouse knows me better than anyone else on this planet. She has my best interest at heart. And what I've learned in saying that, what I've learned was that there were moments where her ideas or her suggestions I didn't think was best at the time, but they were. And what I'm really speaking about is I remember there was a time when my wife, I was working crazy long hours because I had to be open to accommodate customers. So I had to be there when they were, when they wanted me to be there. So my wife, as far as when we came together, as far as under one location, she cut the hours. And I'm thinking, hey, you know what? You're messing up as far as, the flow here. But she wasn't messing up the flow. She was just looking out for my best interest. She was trying to save my life. She was trying to save our marriage. Because again, like I was saying earlier, as far as finding that balance, so she was helping me find that balance. So it's critical. It's critical for me. Now it's critical for me as far as for me to have my helpmate working side by side because she introduces those ideas that I otherwise would not have thought of. So again, she's saving my life,
Yeah.
helping me, making me better, and I thank you for that.
Well, thank you.
Wow.
Wow. Wow. That's
Yeah.
you got everybody who's watching this probably teary eyed. I'm trying to keep it all together right now because I'm thinking about my bride over here as well. Wow, because
But
it is something that you really are blessed to have somebody who has your back like that, and
yeah, yeah,
nobody
yeah.
better than, your wife, husband,
Hmm.
both building each other up and watching something that was an ideal become turning, come into fruition or being birthed and growing. So
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
part we want to know too, why you would call it your baby.
As Tiffany had mentioned earlier, we are a blended family,
Hmm.
and the two of us, we don't have any children amongst ourselves
Right.
together. So this business is something that we've done together.
Created.
We've raised it, and we continue to raise this quote unquote baby up, and we're seeing it, it coming to fruition. We're seeing it, the different levels of it, and we're
Right.
able to have pillow talk, at night, and we're talking about, remember when, as far as, we were at the Ark, talking about our beginnings and whatnot,
Right.
and it's a journey together.
Right.
And I mean, it's I mean, we're doing life together,
Right.
I mean, on all sides. It's not just when I come home from work. No, she's part of the work,
Right.
and she's experiencing it as well. And it's just, I mean, so this is our baby. We're raising this thing up together. We're nurturing this thing
Sewing into
together.
it, praying over it. Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Covering it. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. So it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. And I know, as far as, and it's an honor. I know some people say, hey, you know what? I can't see how you, spend so much time as far as with your wife or what have you. This is my friend.
Yeah.
Right.
And it wasn't easy.
It's not.
It's not easy. Right now, look all sweet and everything, but
Yeah.
maturity,
Hmm.
growth,
Mm-hmm.
intentional growth, perseverance, everything, you have to want it. We
Mm.
bumped
Right.
heads like crazy.
Yes. Yes.
We
Yeah.
bumped heads like crazy, but the love and the friendship and God has always pushed us to
Mm-hmm.
get over it, get it
Hmm.
together, get back in align ourselves back up with God,
Mm-hmm.
and do what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
yeah, it's still a job.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
marriage is a job, the business is a job. It's still a daily fight and sacrifice against the attacks of Satan to destroy both.
Yeah. And at the end of the day,
Yes.
you gotta wanna want it.
You gotta want it. That's it. That's
Yeah.
a good
Yeah.
one.
Wow. If you get a chance to come by in Clayton, New Jersey, you should check it out.
Yeah, yeah. Yanni House of Cheesecakes, delicious. And I got to tell him, I agree with what he said. Nobody knows him better than his wife and vice versa. So it's
Yes.
great to work with your spouse.
Yes.
We found it to be a great thing. We get to see each other every day
And we love each
and we
other.
love each other. We like each
We
other. We
like
love
each
each
other. We
other.
love each
Yeah.
other.
And this little girl here too, along with our kids. So that's one of the perks of having, being an entrepreneur. You get to see your family all the time because you make your own schedule,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
So now we have from frontrunnerNewJersey.com, Mr. Clyde Hughes.
Yes.
He's going to talk to us about networking and mentorship and what it meant for him to have that in his life as a business entrepreneur.
Take a look.
What role did networking and mentorship play in your business early development? Did you have any key mentors or role models?
Uh, eh, uh, like I mentioned before, it was important to get out there and just meet people and meet like-minded people. That really, really helps, especially when you're uh, doing news. And because these days people have their own opinion about what is news and everything, and especially where I'm coming from in my niche, covering the African American and Latino communities. So you really need to surround your people with others who believe in what you're doing. And I was very fortunate to find people who were, and and I call them the front runner true believers. I have a small group of front runner true believers. So those mentors and those guys they're all very, very important because you hope that they're an extension of your business as far as talking about the positive aspects
Right.
of what you're doing.
All right, so last but not least,
For our last guest that we want to highlight in this recap episode is Linda Milano. She gave some great insight on the challenges and overcoming the challenges actually to starting her business. What were some of the biggest challenges you faced during the initial stages of setting up your business?
I felt overwhelmed and kind of isolated on an island of my own because family and friends had never really started a business, right? They couldn't walk and guide me through this is what you need. These are the checklist of things that you need to do. And in New Jersey there's a lot of forms that you need to fill out, and
Yes.
it's something that was new to me. And fortunately, I was able to meet up with a couple of people that could guide me and walk me and help me figure out the right foundation to start the business. But in the early days, the fear of the unknown, along with the overwhelming task of starting something from scratch, was really, really challenging. So I had to kind of break it down to small baby steps and tackle one thing at a time and not project myself 10 years later, right? Um,
Right.
I actually heard a talk by the founder of Uggs Boots, right? And it was within the first couple of months of starting CFB, so it was very timely and appropriate, where he said when businesses are very much like children. You have that newborn phase, and there's this whole new life that is changing how you live, right? Like you're adapting, lack of
Right.
sleep, and like the overwhelming to-do list and all of that. But you don't expect that baby, that newborn, to come out walking, talking, running, full of education, right? Like there's a process of being a business owner, very much like a child. So giving yourself
Right.
grace to make mistakes and to turn to that support system, whether it be a chamber or family members or whatever, to see things from an outside perspective and encourage you.
all right, so I hope you enjoyed this series of highlights that we were showing you for the year 2025. We're expecting 2026 to be even bigger with greater interviews so you can learn tips and how-tos to run your business smooth or get excited to start a business. That's the whole purpose of this thing.
Yes, and we just enjoy the conversation because it also inspires us and we hope it inspires you. And as a viewer and you want to continue for us to grow this channel, hit that subscribe button, like it, share it. If you see any of your friends here that appeared on our show, share it. Support their business any way you know how. If you want to purchase their services or just want to help spread the news, like their post, like their pages, share it. Entrepreneurs need just a little nudge.
It's just a little nudge. So listen, we really appreciate y'all sticking with us throughout this
Yes.
particular first year. Once again, season 2 is coming just right around the corner. And if you're celebrating and watching this for New Year's, then, Happy New Year's to you.
Happy New Year's.
This episode is sponsored by FrontRunnerNewJersey.com, your digital publication that covers South Jersey, and Fruition Life Media, preserving family legacies through video tributes, and Creative Content on Demand, your multimedia marketing company for all businesses.